Hey, everybody, it's your lovely Lotus Blossom Lizzie. And today I'm going to be doing a really free flowing type of junk journal process today. And I invite you to join me. So if you love videos like this, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And also make sure you leave a comment below. I love to know your favorite part after you get done watching it. Of course, you can put it anytime you want to. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when more videos like this one come out. So of course I jumped right in and I took out a few of the things that I thought I might be using, and one of them was some magazine pages. So I kind of earmarked those pages ahead of time so I wouldn't take too much time on this process, although it still took me quite a bit of time. And then I also ripped out a page from my Daphne's, I thought that was Daphne's Diary, but actually it's a journaling magazine that I had, and it has lots of pictures of other people's journals in there, and they are amazing. And so I wanted to use some of those in my junk journal. Now I'm cutting up some pieces that I can use. I'm not going to use all of them this time, but I'll use a few. So it's always good to kind of just have things at hand so you won't be running around kind of willy-nilly like I'm usually doing. And this time I did pretty good. I had everything right here where I could get to it. So next, I am going to kind of take out my little book. And this book, I haven't junk journaled in about, I'll have to say, a few months. And that's because I've just been very, very busy with my work. And so I just wanted to kind of jump right in without making a big book. So I made a small junk journal for myself, and I absolutely love it. It is just the perfect size for me right now. And I was able to just make it and just really dig in and get started with my junk journaling. So that made me very, very happy. And so I'm just cutting up some pictures. Now, this little paper cutter that I have here, I'm going to use a strong word that I don't like to use, but I hate this paper cutter, y'all. I hate it. This was the very first paper cutter I purchased when I really got back into crafting a couple of years ago. And so I think I got it at Staples or something. So it wasn't all that cheap. I wasn't able to use like a coupon or anything on it. And it's horrible. It's a horrible paper cutter, and I don't recommend anybody buy it. Now I do have some other paper cutters. I was just kind of being lazy and I didn't want to pull them back out. So the Fiskars they've worked very good for me, but this particular one, horrible. So I did take my scissors out, and I don't really like trying to cut straight lines with my scissors because I have a love-hate relationship with my scissors as well, but I love them more than I love that paper cutter. So now I'm just kind of rifling through the book and trying to figure out where am I going to use that fantastic image at, because I love it. And so I'm just going through, and I also took out some book pages, and the book pages have German on them. And nope, I don't speak any German. I lived in Germany for a few years, but I don't speak any German now. But I was in kind of a book texty kind of mood for background. So I pulled out a few pages of some books that I had. Now keep in mind, I have book pages that I have up in my Etsy shop. So I wouldn't recommend you just taking a book and just pulling the pages out. You can get some book pages in the shop if you need them, but you could just tear up a book if you wanted to, if you felt brave enough. But again, I have plenty of them over at pleasantcreations.com. So I'm just putting down some tape here, and sometimes I'm like in the mood to use glue. Sometimes I use tape. Sometimes I just use washi tape. It's like all kinds of ways you can adhere things down. But today I think I used a lot more of the double stick tape than anything else. But sometimes you just don't want to use a lot of glue. So this page right here, I know I'm going to use it there, but I didn't really feel like dealing with that page, and that's the beauty of junk journaling is you work wherever your mind takes you. So I had these pieces here. I had this cran raisins packet that I think I got from like Sam's or Walmart as a sample, and I had these tags that I had on some clothes that I purchased, and I was like, I love it. They just magically matched what was on that page. So I decided to use it, and of course I wanted to use that book text as well. So I just took some my trusty glue stick and I adhered the page down. Nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy about it. I just used the glue stick and I put it down, and then I just went around the edges with some scissors to trim off the edge, and that just worked perfectly for me. Because like I said, some days you're just in a book text kind of way. And it's not that I didn't like the background of the page that I put in there already, but I remember watching other people's videos when I first started, before I was brave enough to start junk journaling myself. And I would watch people do things like this. They would cover up very beautiful pictures with other stuff, and I would say, oh no, why are they doing that? Why are they covering it up? Well, now I kind of understand. It's like you just go with the flow. You go wherever your mind kind of takes you when it comes to things like this. You'll also notice that I am using this little pointy little gadget thing to take the backing off the tape, and that is a Cricut weeder. Actually, most people use that when they make like stencils, and they have like little tiny holes, and you have to use a little pick to kind of get those, the pieces out of there. That's what that is. It's a weeder, and it works perfectly for me because right now I have my nails cut down pretty low because I've just been doing so many things with my hands. I just don't have time to manage broken nails and stuff like that. And I'm the type of girl, I have good nail growth and everything, but I just she's just not feeling it right now. So and it's kind of working out for me, especially when it comes to junk journaling. I just don't worry about it, and I'm getting my hands dirty, people. I also, with the photos, I didn't want the photos to be too large, so I made my photos really small. I don't have anything special to print the photos on. I just use my regular printer, and it's a Canon printer, and it will print on 4x6 paper. So I do have some photo paper that I use this time. Sometimes I just use regular paper, and I will print the actual pictures out, and I don't worry about it. At one time I was going to try to get one of those fancy smancy photo printers, and I was like, you know what, I just can't justify the cost because I can print it right on my printer right next to me. So that's what I do. So I printed out a few photos. I actually printed, I think this time I did 3 photos on one piece of paper on one 4x6. So they're pretty small, and I meant for them to be that way because the photos can really take over your junk journal. And in this case, it's not a photo album. I didn't mean for it to be a photo album. I meant for it to be a junk journal. And so that's how I wanted it to be. And in the past I don't know if I said this already, but I've watched other people's videos, and some people, they just put, they put things that are meant for recycling, and some people will call it trash, and, scrap pieces of paper. They just only put that in their junk journals. And, I don't really like those videos all that much. And then there's some people that they have like total Victorian layouts on all their pages with beautiful pictures of babies and cherubs, and I don't really like those either. And then there's people that just have like pre-made things in their journal, and it looks very pristine and beautiful and pretty and neat and color-coded, and that's just not me either. What I like is to just have a mix of things. And so that's how I put my journal together, as a mix. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened on this page. I made a bit of a snafu to begin with. When I first started, I'm actually using some gelatos on this page. And the gelatos are like paint crayons, I believe. They work kind of the same, and I don't use them enough. I need to use them more. but they need to go on a wet surface. So I tried to use it on this is just copier paper, it's heavier paper, and it immediately, the paper just started disintegrating on me when I first started. So what I did was I went back and I put down some Liquitex gesso, which is like a barrier between the paint and the actual paper, and then I could really move those colors around, so you can see they're moving around really good. And then I started using like a paper towel for some texture. So I used red and gold, and I wanted it to be a background for this picture. This picture just stood out to me. I loved it, and I always believe that life is good, and I wanted this in my journal. So I wanted to kind of split it up. Instead of trying to glue it across the 2 pages, I wanted it to go across the 2 pages like this. I decided that I wanted to not cut it like directly in half, but I did want to cut it, and then it would make the pages easier to open and close. And so that's what I did. So I wanted to make sure that the paper was dry good. So I used my heat gun, which is one of my favorite tools. I don't even unplug that thing. It just stays right next to me, and it's a beautiful thing, because sometimes I'm impatient and I just want to keep on going. And the way to do that is to have a fantastic heat gun, because then you can dry some things. So I probably dry things that I really shouldn't be drying, with the heat gun, but I dry it, and it's worked out for me perfectly so far. So now I did make another little mistake here. I put this picture down upside down. Yeah, I put it in upside down, and I know you probably didn't notice that, or maybe you did, but I think sometimes I've done that before. I just wasn't paying attention, and it can be like a happy mistake. I still love the way it turned out, even though it was kind of upside down. And then I decided to use some washi tape in here, because I noticed within the picture itself, because this is a picture of a journal page, someone had used some washi tape, and I was like, I got some washi tape that looks like that would kind of match the picture. Well, I didn't, but I still had like this rickrack instead of diagonal, and I still love the way it came out, because the colors were still there. So I decided to use that instead, and so far this is really coming out better than I had expected it to. And usually that's how my junk journal pages come out, and that's one reason why I love junk journaling, because it's the feeling that you get. I'm not an artist, but I would like to be an artist, so this is a way for me to feel kind of artsy. Oh, and I wanted to mention this book right here that I'm going through. This is kind of like my homemade flow journal. So if you haven't heard of a flow journal, you could get these books. You can find them in different places, sometimes in bookstores, sometimes in like Joann's or Michael's and things like that. And what they have is like, cards and papers and things that you can use to just kind of get the flow going for you. And you don't have to go hunting for things. And so I kind of made my own flow journal. And it didn't come out the way I wanted it to, but let's just say it serves its purpose. It is very purposeful, and I love it, actually. And maybe I'll share it a little bit more in a different video with you. So I'm just kind of making a kind of like an outline of this picture, and I'm using my scissors. And I had to say to myself, okay, cut it as straight as you can, Liz, because again, me and them scissors, we got a love-hate relationship, folks. And then I also wanted this time card to be kind of a background. And I love the time cards. They're good for making lists. They're good for backgrounds and writing on. And they have really sturdy feeling. You can make like tags and all kinds of stuff. I love the time cards. And these are actually, I provide these in the shop as well over at pleasantcreations.com. A link will be below, and you can go over there and you can check out some of the items that you can use for your journals. You'll be happy. I love the items that I have. I am not only a seller of journal supplies, I'm a user myself. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this picture down. I'm using that time card as a background, and it did cover up part of that picture that's upside down, but I didn't cover the whole picture up, so I still like the way that it looked. And although I put this washi tape down here, I ended up covering that up too, and it wasn't really like and well, actually I'd covered up another piece already, not this one, and it wasn't intentional. It's just the way the page kind of flowed. So I was going to use this piece of canvas, and then I decided against it. I did get some liquid text out, and I covered up that white spot that was at the bottom of the page, and I took the gelato out. It's a gold gelato, and I kind of just went over that spot. So I wet it, because you have to, it needs to be wet, and I just took my finger, and then I just wiped my fingers off with some baby wipes for now. After I get completely done, I'll go and scrub my hands up. And surprisingly, it's not hard to get painting things off of your hands, if I guess if your hands are not all crusty and stuff to begin with. I know that's kind of harsh, huh? I hope my hands are not all crusty and stuff. So I decided I was going to grunge this page up. I went grunge crazy. I loved it. And then I wanted to do the edges as well, because when you do the edges, it just gives the page a more of a finished look. And I know it seems like the grunge is kind of like the end thing now, but I just love the way things come out on there. So until, I see another technique that's a little bit better, I'll probably keep on using that technique as well. So this came out to be pretty much like a full on kind of layout, and it was unintentional because that's the way things flow when you're in the journaling process. So I took these stamps out, and I really wanted to use the stamps, but I wasn't really feeling it that much. And this was a Dollar Tree stamp, and it's just like of some little flowers and stuff. I wasn't really digging it that much. It was like I was making myself trying to use it. And I was like, no, let's put that one away. And then I decided to take out some leaves for some reason. And as soon as I put down the first leaf, I was like, no, you know what? I don't like this. It looks kind of crazy on the page right now, but I'll go back and it's going to look beautiful when I get done. But I just decided to put that stamp away. And then I said, but I do want to use this other stamp that I have here. So, and it's just like of some writing. And I'm not going to use a stamp block on here because I want to stamp it kind of in an organic way, if that makes sense. It doesn't need to hit all the spots, and it could be a little bit of a ghost stamping type of technique there. I just wanted to kind of give the page a rustic kind of look, like it's like old wallpaper, and that's exactly what I got, like that really nice rustic look, and it came out really beautiful. So I went to another page because I still wanted to use like this little circle that I took out of the book. And I got out of a library book, a library magazine, and it says Back to the Basics. Because, it's been so long since I junk journal. I just wanted to just get back to the basics, not think about things too much, and just get her done, folks. I just wanted to get her done. And at the bottom of that circle, it had a website, and I wanted to cover it up. And so I used some tiny words from Tim Holtz, and it says make a difference. And I just gave it a little bit of spot of an outline there. And I want to use a little bit more as well. So I went back to my layout that really wasn't supposed to be a layout, but it came out to be a layout. Looks like, perfect artwork for me. And I put down a saying that says, with brave wings she flies. And then I gave it a little bit of an outline so everything kind of stands out on its own. So all these pages, like I say, I usually just go through and I put like little bits and pieces everywhere along the pages. And, eventually everything comes out. And I'll go back in and I'm going to do some journaling later in the page. And I know you're seeing a lot of pages that are already completed. And once I get done with this book, I will do like a full on kind of flip through of it. But I just want to kind of give you an idea of some of the things that I did today. And this whole process actually took me about maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. And that's probably because I was filming and I wasn't really doing things as organic as usual, but it still was a really good flow today, I have to say. So again, if you love videos like this, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Comments are very helpful for the channel. It shows nice engagement. And subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Don't forget to hit the notification button as well. So with that, I'm going to say love, peace, and hair grease. From your sweet lotus blossom and lovable Lizzie, have a fantabulous day and enjoy life.